Hi everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus, and we are to my favorite part. We're going to bind our journal. I love doing this. It was terrifying to me the first time that I did it, so I understand if you're scared, but it's really not that hard once you get the hang of it. Okay, so what I've done already, because it was just easier to do this off camera and not take up time with it, is I went through and I moved these pages so that, you know, they were up, down, wherever it is that I wanted, and I also flipped things out that would normally be in that I don't want to get caught up in the binding. Okay, so several things that I looked for in placing these things. I want to make sure that this lace is hanging down below the bottom of the cover. Okay, so I pulled those pages down somewhat. I also wanted to make sure that my tabs are spaced out properly. One of them's back here. You can't see it because of this thing being pulled out. Now this is not going to be pulled out permanently. It's just that way right now. Okay, so I've got this all ready to stick inside the cover, and I'm going to stick it in there, figure out exactly where I want it to be. Okay, so I've got it like that. Okay, then I'm going to find the center again, which is where's my center? Here it is, right here. Okay, now when I bind this, I'm going to have to be careful that I've got my lace in the right place, because I'm going to be making a hole straight through that to hold it in place. Okay, but you won't see that when I do it, so I'm just telling you that now. So I want to find that center, and then I'm going to grab my binder clips. Okay, I've got 4 of them. Get the big kind. I used smaller ones before, and it made this so much more difficult. Okay, these are binder clips, and I think that they're called binder clips because they're for binding books. I never thought about it until I started binding journals, and it was like, oh, that's why they call them binder clips. So what you're going to do is you're going to clip your paper and your cover all together. Okay, and you want to have it the way that it would be if it's closed. Okay, so it takes a little bit of coordination to do this, and my left hand isn't very strong, so I always have a hard time opening that up enough, but I got it. And you want to push it in as far as you can, and then the same thing over on this side. So you want to have 4 of them. You want to get everything held together really nicely. And it needs to be held together closed, because if you open it, it's going to change the placement of everything. Okay, so we've got that ready. We want to make sure that we've got these things here out. And I took out any like envelopes and stuff that I already had in there because I don't want those to accidentally get caught up in the binding. Okay, I've got my oh dear, here's my needle. You want a nice big needle. I think this is a crewel embroidery needle, but I'm not sure. It's got a nice big, and it makes a nice hole. And then whatever we're going to use to bind it. And I am very partial to twine. Twine just works really nicely for binding this. You want to do at least 3 times the height of your journal. And I actually do 4 because I want to have plenty to dangle down and put my beads on. I can always cut it off and then I can use it in franken paper, but I want to have that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my needle so that I don't lose my needle. Okay, then I have, oh dear, I didn't look for this before. Oh, here it is. I've got my piece of siding from my house. Up in the mountains, I've got a log cabin looking kind of thing. Okay, and that's what I use. This is a nice soft wood. You can see all the little holes from where I've been doing this. Another thing that you can use, actually what I see most people use, is like an old book or a catalog with the cover ripped off, and that works really well. This just works really well for me. Okay, you have to stand up to do this, so I may get my boobs and my stomach in the way. Sorry if I do. I'll try not to. Okay, so I want to make sure that I've got that ribbon, that lace in the middle just right. And I'm going to do that first. I'm going to stick my awl right there where I want it. But I've got to close the book before I start pushing through. Okay, so I've got it closed. Let me turn it this way here. Okay, I've got it closed. You can't really see, but I'm pushing down into it really hard. I feel it go through to the wood, so I'm going to turn it over. Now, do not put your hand, we're going to push this through, because it will come through suddenly, and it will stab right through your hand. Okay, so I've got it there. I'm going to push it all the way through to, see that rough part right there. okay? Because I want to make a nice big hole. Then I'm going to pull it back out. Okay, so I got my lace and everything in it. That's going to be a little hard to line up, but I'll be able to do it. Okay, then I did that one in the center, and you can't see where it is, but it's right in the center there. I'm going to go about halfway, and I don't measure it. Just go halfway between here and the top. Okay, so I'm going to go right there. Okay, same thing. You want to have it closed. That's really important. Have it closed. Push through. When you feel it go through to your wood or whatever you've got there, then you can turn it on its side and push it through. Be very careful of your hand. This is why you don't want little kids doing this, or even older kids doing it. It's really dangerous, that part. I mean, it's not dangerous for, if you know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, you could stab this thing right through your hand. That would be awful. Okay, so I'm coming through. And see how I'm doing it, this whole thing I'm doing with the book closed. Okay. And you do have to push kind of hard. You got to be strong. I'm not super strong, you guys, and this is hard for me. Okay. All right, so I've got all my holes in place. I can put my awl away. Now for the binding. Okay, it's not hard at all, but it's a little confusing the first time you do it. Once you do it one time, then you have a good idea of it. You only want a little bit of your twine hanging out here. This is actually a little bit too much. I just want enough so that I'm not going to lose it. Okay, I'm going to start in the middle. I need to find my hole in the lace, which I don't really see. Here we go, right there. Okay, and the hole in the book. Okay, so I'm putting it through that center hole. And again, you're putting it over here. You want to make sure your hand's not in the way so you don't stab yourself, but you're not as likely to with this as you are with the awl. Okay, and then I want to leave enough of this hanging down so that I can do my dangles. Okay, so I've got that. Okay, then I'm going to go up through the top hole. And a lot of times it's really hard to see on the fabric, but can you see it right there? The fabric tends to kind of heal itself around that. Now that does not feel like it's going through all the paper. It feels like it's going up someplace. Okay, let's see if that's coming through the center. Nope, it's not. It's going up through another page somewhere. So we've got to get it through the center. There we go. Oops, oops, oops. Don't want to tear that. Okay. All right, now once I've got that through, I can take these binder clips off. Okay. And get those guys out of the way. Gonna make sure that it's pulled tightly back here. Okay. And then I'm going to go back in the exact same place, the same hole and everything where I went through originally in the center. Come out back through here. Okay. And then I'm going to go through the hole that's down here. Okay, so I'm going to go through there and I want to come out in the center. See, and this is the hard thing. It's kind of a balance, you guys. It's like having the binder clips on would hold it all together, so it'd be easier to find that hole, but it also makes it harder to work with. So it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You have to decide what's more important to you. Okay, so we're gonna pull this so it's nice and tight. And we want this nice and tight on the outside. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to go through this top one, not through the paper, just underneath the twine. There we go. Okay, so now I've got both ends on top. I want to make sure that these are hanging down far enough that I can make my dangles. Okay, take my needle off and stick it in my pincushion. Okay. Then I'm going to tie this really, really tight. Okay. And before I make a second knot, I'm going to check on the back, make sure that it's still nice and tight here. Okay. All right. Now before I do my second knot, also, I'm going to cut a little bit of my lace to put in the center, although I've got lace there already. How about we use a little bit of that fabric that we used for the cover? Grab some of this here. I don't know where my fabric scissors are, so hopefully these will cut. There we go. Okay. Let's do that. Not quite such a big piece. I usually put lace in the center, and I saw Gail Augustinelli do this. I loved it. She said that she got the idea from someplace else, and that person probably got the idea from someone else. We don't know who to credit most of these things with. Most things that you do, you get the idea from someone else, you know, and you don't know where you saw it, probably because you've forgotten since you saw it, and you've probably changed it some, you know, because you're just going by what you remember and stuff, so you've put your own spin on it, and it's okay. Okay, so then I'm going to tie it one more time in the center. And then when I get off camera, because I don't want to do this now because the glue will cause a problem, but I'm going to put just a little drop of glue right there and leave it open overnight. Okay, and that little drop of glue is just because I don't trust my knot, but I should. There's no reason not to. I've never had one come out. Now, I tore the paper a little bit there, and also here, but that's cool. I can use some washi tape, and that'll just add to the design, and it'll look really neat. Okay, I didn't get my beads already, and I'm going to actually wait till the end of the journal probably to add those, so I'm just going to leave this hanging like this. But that's it. I mean, we've got it all bound. Let's just look through it really quickly and make sure that nothing got caught up in it. Okay, so this is, okay, it'll tie up this part here that's sticking out. We'll put in when we get there. Okay, so that looks pretty, doesn't it? What's going on there? Okay, so we open it up. We've got our card, which is a pocket here. We've got this pocket. We've got these. I'm checking to make sure that they didn't get caught in the seam, and I want to make sure that I can still open it up. Okay. This is fine. Everything's looking good so far. Yay. I always worry that I'm going to get something caught in it. There we go. And this. And I don't know if I've mentioned, but on these edgings, especially the lace, we can hang some charms. It'll look really cool. That'll be one of the last things that we'll do. Okay, that's close, but it didn't get caught. That's good. Looking nice, you guys. Very good. Oh, I love it. Isn't this so cute? And here's our centerfold. Okay, and we'll put some like green washi tape. That'll look really neat. And that. Oh, you guys, I'm really happy with this. I think it's going to be really pretty. We still have to put in our journaling cards and tags and all that stuff. Okay, so this gets folded there like that. And then this opens up, and we've got this envelope that opens all the way up for writing on, and this pocket here. I'll show you all this a lot more when we have a flip through when we're done, but just right now I'm just checking to make sure that nothing got caught in the binding, because at this point it's really easy to, you know, cut the binding and just start over again. Okay, so this has to go, let's see, this folds here like that. Okay, and of course we've got it over here. We've got this. Oh, I love this. Isn't that beautiful? And then I really like this. You guys, this turned out so good, and I wasn't sure about using that envelope, but I'm very, very pleased with it. Let's put a little bit of ink on this. It looks kind of stark here. And the same thing with this. And then I think that we will be done for today. All right, let's look at the back. Let's tie it just to see how it all looks. It's already thick, and we're going to add cards to it. Isn't that pretty? Oh my word, it's gorgeous. Look at that. And these we want to leave hanging out here because I'm also going to do a bookmark made out of twine hanging down, so there'll be even more dangles. And then of course we'll have charms and stuff across the bottom. But isn't that just beautiful? You guys, I'm very, very happy with this. Okay, so we still have to do all the ephemera and everything. So we'll still have a few more videos, probably maybe another week or so. All right, I love you all. I will talk to you later. Let's remember to pray for each other, okay? Bye-bye.